Join us in the UK, and today we are doing another experience video, this time on the Ford Mustang 5-litre convertible. These cars are absolutely stunning. They've only been available to the UK market and Europe for not that long. So it's fun to be able to look around it and see what is now on the cards, because going to America, I've always seen a bunch of these cars driving around, and now they're actually available here. So this is the 5-litre V8 version of the car. We'll walk you through all of the performance stats when we get to the engine later on. But this is about a £45,000 car. Now, with no options, base price, it's £43,000. Now this one has £2,000 therefore worth of options. Two main options: the ruby red color, which is about £595, and then for about £1,700 we've got the custom pack, which gives you things like parking sensors and the rims that this car's got and a bunch of things. But what's really impressive is, for the price, it actually comes with a lot of stock options. So if we walk around the car, obviously the paint is beautiful. There's a different grille with the V8. You got these vertical struts here compared to the V6, because this car is also available in a cheaper V6 EcoBoost version. You've then got, this is all plastic, so it's not carbon fiber, any of this stuff, but you've got a front splitter here. It's really not that low, so perfect for daily use. You've got more plastic with your fog lights, and then these awesome looking LED lights which carry over the sort of Mustang look. On the V8, you've also got this awesome sort of double bubble design on the front hood, which is very cool. Now you get these rims around front, these 19-inch rims, which are absolutely stunning looking. In this car, I actually think they would look cooler in black with this spec, but anyways, you then get Brembo brakes as standard, the performance brakes, which you get when you get the 5-litre V8 version. Little 5-litre badge, standard as well, which comes when you get this engine type and reminds you that you're in the big boy car. Around the side, you've got more plastic on the side sills here. Again, it's slightly cheap feeling plastic, but I mean £45,000 car. What do you expect? You've got more on the rims around the back. And then on this one, we've got the translucent white lights, which I think look really, really nice. Dual exhaust tips on the back as well. And this car sounds amazing. We'll show you that in a little bit. Now, to open the boot, it's on the key. You double press, so you have your unlock, lock, and then your boot button. So you double press that, and the boot opens. It's actually a really generously sized boot in this car. It's an American sized booty, but it is actually really, really good. And the good thing about this is when you put the roof down, which we'll show you afterwards. Yeah, down here you got your spare tire space and all of that. When you put the roof down, it actually doesn't take any boot space up, which is really practical for convertibles, because often with these 4-seater convertibles, once you got the roof down, you've basically got no more boot space. What we should do now though is actually show you the engine. Now, because this is a right-hand drive car, because of the UK market, the actual engine hood releases still in the left side of the car, which is often the case with English cars. So you just pull this thing here, and then we go around front, where you'll be able to see the beast which powers this car. Now then, this took me a while the first time we did it to get this open. There we go. It's actually not hydraulic, so you need to put this little strut up to be able to hold it up whilst you're looking at your beautiful 5-litre naturally aspirated V8, which has 416 PS and propels this car to 155 miles an hour, which is actually a limited top speed. Now, I asked about the 0 to 60 and looked on all the spec sheets, but it's actually to be confirmed. So we don't know what the 0 to 60 is yet on this car, but I imagine it is pretty quick. This car is basically a brutal, back to the old school muscle car kind of vibe. So you can have your family with you, you can have that Mustang heritage, and you can still have the big naturally aspirated V8, which sounds absolutely awesome. Now then, where these cars used to not do so well was on interior comfort. Now, what we should do is go inside and see if with these new ones there's been an improvement. So if I unlock the car, move on to that side. First of all, when you jump in, you can see that in this one with the custom pack, you got all of the leather, really nice leather. I mean, it's slightly American feeling leather. It's not like what you get in a Porsche or in a Mercedes, but then those are in a different price range. So if we hop in, you're greeted with a sort of retro modern look. You've got the Mustang logo in the middle, leather steering wheel, which is actually very nice. Now, this particular car is an auto. You can also get a manual, and interestingly, the manual car is the only one which has launch control. So this car does not have launch control, but you do have different modes. You have wet, snow, normal, and you have sport and track. So you can go through all the different modes, which is very, very cool. Now let's walk you through the full instrument cluster area. So you've got here, you've got your revs, and actually you can decide on the different colors you want these to light up in. Oh, start up so you can hear the V8. But yeah, those are the revs right there. And then you got a little screen in the middle which will give you a bunch of information which you can flip through using the buttons on the steering wheel. So if I press OK, you can then get all your trip, computer information, your speed in a digital format. You can get your fuel history, you can get all sorts of different info on there, which is pretty interesting. And actually the buttons feel quite solid when you press them, in good quality. On the other side of the steering wheel, you've then got all of your music buttons. So you've got your volume, next track, all of that stuff. And this car has actually come with the optional shaker sound system with the custom pack, which sounds absolutely unbelievable. We've then got our speedo here, which gives you both in kilometers an hour and miles an hour, which is really practical to have. Then it's got voice command, Bluetooth phone, so you can control all of that through here, and then you've got all of your cruise control settings as well. So that's the steering wheel area. You then got your paddles for your auto box on the back, which actually I have to say feel quite plasticky. You would hope that these would be metal, but not much you can do about it. It is a fairly, you know, it's not cheap at all by any means. £45,000 is expensive, but for a V8 with over 400 brake, it's doing pretty well price-wise. We then got plastic all over the side here with a bit of leather thrown in there, but some of the plastics do feel pretty cheap, like down here. You've got all of your window controls, your lock and unlock, slightly plasticky feeling door handle as well, which is, this whole area could do with some improving. I mean, see up here, all of these plastic, this is nice here, it's leather, you can just hear the difference, but up here, you're hitting on some plastic territory. Now then, if we get to the center console, we've got a big little cubby here where you can plug your phone in. There's a USB adapter as well as a 12-volt charger and a nice big space to put some stuff. Two big American style Starbucks cup holders, which are perfectly placed as well. The only problem is if you're changing gear, you might knock them over. You've then got your manual handbrake as well. It's not electric on this car. Your gear selector, where you can go obviously to sport mode as well for your gearbox. And then this is where stuff gets a bit interesting. You got down here these very cool fighter jet style buttons where you can flick through the different modes. So right now we'd be, for example, in normal mode, and it pops up here if you show in the little screen. Normal mode, sport plus, racetrack, and then you've got snow and wet. So we'll leave it in normal for now. But that's very cool and very easy to use, very easy to access. We then have a steering feel control button, again pops up here, so you get your different steering feel controls, which is very cool. So you can go from normal, sport, and then comfort as well. So comfort will be lighter, sport will be slightly more weighted, and normal will be a compromise between all of those. This is your traction off, which you just put up and hold up and your traction goes off. So traction back on. Your hazard lights, engine start stop, another 12-volt charger down there. All of your climate controls are here, and then up here you get all of your radio. So volume, you can flick through all the different radio stations, and this is the on-off sort of switch. This is also a tactile touch screen, which you can use for your sat nav and all of your different things. So climate, audio, and it's actually a really nice touch screen. It's very communicative and just really nice and very clear. Then got all of your little air vents here, which again go back to that retro look like in old Mustangs, which is also complemented here with your little plaque which says since 1964. Now then, the roof. How does the roof work? Well, it's automatic, but you do have to unlock it. So up here, you turn this, unlock the roof, and then you just press this button right here, and it actually all happens pretty quickly. All the windows go down and the roof goes down in really not much time at all. If you're looking at 4 Series convertibles and stuff, they take a lot more time. So that goes all the way down. There we go. So there we go, there it goes. All the way down, and it actually just sits above the boot, so it doesn't take up any space in the boot, which is really convenient. And then it also allows you to see the rear seats. It does have rear seats, this car, but if you're tall like Ayo, as you can see, you're gonna need to have some pretty small legs. But in my driving position, which we're in now, you could easily fit an adult behind you. So yeah, it's pretty good. Now I think what we should do is probably whack this into sport mode and give you a few revs so you can hear the V8. Let me know when you're ready.
I am ready.
Sounds pretty good, right?
Yeah.
And you've got the little burbles when you lift off.
You do, yeah.
And you've just got that sort of American sound. So that's this car. Now, unfortunately, in these experience videos, we're not always going to be able to drive the car. So in this case, you have to be 28 years old to drive this on UK insurance. So I'm not going to be able to drive it. However, we're going to get a driver to take us out so we can at least experience it with you guys and see what it's all about. Now then, one other thing I think would be cool to do is there is a Shelby GT350 over there. So after hearing this car, maybe just quickly we can tease, because we're not allowed to take that car out because it's not street legal because of the tires, we can tease the sound of that compared to this. We've upgraded very briefly to the GT350 just so you guys can hear it. So I'm just going to switch it on and give it a few revs and you guys can compare what you think between the 5 litre and this. Oh. That is quite the upgrade. Did you hear the valve? Listen to this.
I did. Yeah, that went off.
Off, and then sounds good.
Sounds like a Coca-Cola can.
Yeah, and then it goes back on.
Oh.
We're now in the passenger seat of the 5 litre, driving along the road. Thanks for driving us. We got AO in the back as well, and it's interesting just experiencing this car. My first initial impressions on this, the last 4-seater convertible that I was in was the C63, and this feels much more compliant than that and much more comfortable. Now it does feel quite large on the road. You feel like you're driving a car that's, well, I'm not currently driving it, but in a car which is pretty big. But you could easily use this car every day. It's perfectly comfortable, perfectly practical enough to be able to use it. AO's sitting in the back. We're saying that it feels a lot less windy than in the C63, and also you feel properly supported, like you're properly held in with side support, which makes a big difference. The seats are comfortable. They've got good side support, and they're not too hard as well, and you can adjust them quite nicely. So yeah, I really like it. I put my seat all the way forward so AO could get in the back, and I don't feel like I'm up against the front at all. There's plenty of space. You can easily have 4 adults in this car. The noise is pretty good. It's like a deep, rumbly sort of sound. It's nothing crazy. It's not like the Shelby, which we just heard, but I guess after hearing that, that's, I genuinely think, the craziest sounding stock car I have ever heard. But obviously I can't tell you too much about the way this car feels, all the different steering modes and stuff like that, because I'm not driving it. But just from an experience of being inside of it, it does feel nice. I mean, obviously it being, for example, compared to the C63, which costs about double the money, you do feel that in terms of the materials used inside and a few things here and there, but it really does not feel like it would be half the money. It feels like, yeah, maybe the materials aren't quite as nice, but you've got the noise, which is very similar to that of the C63. You've got all the practicality, and you've got somewhat of a similar performance as well with the 416 PS this thing's putting out. So very impressive. Great to be able to finally experience one of these, because I've seen so many on the road, and I've wanted to sort of be able to experience them, and it's fascinating to be able to now see this American concept brought to the European market. And I'm sure it'll do well, because it's a winning recipe. It's accessible to more people than a lot of cars that use this recipe. So yeah, I think it's a brilliant car. I really enjoyed looking around it. I hope you've enjoyed the experience video, and we're going to finish it back at the hotel. Well, that's the Mustang 5 litre GT for you, convertible auto. Unfortunately couldn't drive it, as I said, but some of these experience videos, I just want to bring you guys along so you can experience them as I do by sitting in the passenger seat. Thank you so much for watching. We're going to be doing more of these in the very near future. Please remember to subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up, and yeah, cheers. See you soon. Bye-bye.